Did you know, as part of its world-class value management platform, ecosystems can build value realization capabilities directly into your product or service itself, allowing it to not only calculate, but also communicate realized value directly with customers on an ongoing real-time basis, all without any human intervention at all. With Eco Inside, value realization isn't just about your product, it actually is your product. Find out more on our website at ecosystems.io. And now, on with the breakdown. We all know that B2B buying is team sport, but it's especially interesting when you can actually see that borne out in the data as well. Recently at Ecosystems, we had a chance to apply some pretty powerful analytical tools to the data anonymously in our platform to try to understand some of the different attributes of what increases the likelihood of winning a large complex deal. And one of the things that I think was most interesting in that data was the data on collaboration. So one of the things we found was the critical nature or the critical need for internal collaboration, as internal on the supplier side. So we found that for those deals in our platform where there was more than one, that is two, usually or more, stakeholders involved on the supplier side, the win rates of those deals were twice as high as the win rates for deals where only one person on the supplier side was in the platform on that particular opportunity. And what in that platform means essentially is that there was more than one individual, more than one stakeholder. So maybe there was a supplier sales rep or a customer success rep, but also maybe a subject matter expert, maybe a manager, maybe two reps from different product silos, whatever it might be, engaged in effectively in a collaboration, in a conversation inside the platform where they were thinking through the articulation of customer objectives. They were doing a better job of perhaps defining the metrics that are most important to that customer and the timelines against which those metrics will be measured, helping to tie those back to the tactics that ultimately that customer was seeking to achieve to meet their specific objectives. And even more powerful, and perhaps not surprising, but so really interesting to see in the data, is that as much as internal collaboration really matters, customer collaboration matters a lot more. And so the other data point that we found is for those deals in our platform where there were three or more customer stakeholders, that is individuals on the customer side also involved in that deal in the platform, that ultimately led to a tripling of win rates. So in fact, it was over 3x the likelihood of winning a deal when three or more stakeholders on the customer side were equally involved in that deal. And I think this is just testament to just the degree to which B2B selling, but also B2B buying has in fact, or indeed become team sport today. And that ultimately what we're trying to do, as I've talked about in previous breakdowns, is not just align our company to the customer's company, but to align those customer stakeholders inside the customer organization with each other such that they have a collective agreement across objectives and tactics and metrics and targets and timelines, so they can come to a collective and common vision of what they're trying to do, such that when we put the value or business case on the table that we're asking them to agree on, they can look at it and not only say, yes, that is a good business case, but in fact, that's a business case tied to something we all agree is important for us to accomplish. And so one of the things I think is really important from all this data is the lesson it teaches all of us in the need to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to make sure that the value conversation is in fact that, a conversation, but not just between me and you, but really between us and y'all. That is the people, the stakeholders across the customer organization that really need to be involved in this kind of conversation. And that, I think, is ultimately one of the single biggest, most practical things we could do to 3x our win rate, is to ensure that we're creating a conversation inside the customer organization and inside the eco platform to align around what the customer is ultimately trying to do in the first place.